Some vegetables today with some mushrooms, and the best place to buy the kind of mushrooms I want is at this Asian grocery store. Park the shop. Let's go inside. This place has everything you need for any kind of Asian dish. Look at this. All this fish, silver fish head, butterfish, mackerel, tilapia, black pomfret, milkfish, golden pomfret, one of my favorites. I found the mushrooms. They have king oyster, regular oyster, shiitake. We're gonna grab some of these shiitakes, some of these regular oyster, and some of the king oyster as well. These things are delicious. This vegetable here is called Bok Choy, and you can cook this just like you cook mustard greens, and it is absolutely delicious. This one is called Napa cabbage. This is the one that they use to make kimchi. Okay, for my Asian vegetables, I selected some Bok Choy, some Shanghai, some leeks. I'm giving those a good rinse. Also, for mushrooms, I got oyster mushrooms, king oyster mushrooms, shiitake, and I'm going to chop up some onions to go with it. These king oyster mushrooms, once you cook them, they get really tough, almost like calamari. And if you season it properly, you would almost think you're eating seafood, like scallops or something. They're really good. Once I've chopped up the vegetables, the onions, the leeks, first I'm going to saute those. And once they begin to release their essence, I'll then add the mushrooms to that. The mushrooms are very high in moisture, so the mushrooms, onions, and leeks will make their own broth. I will then pour the broth into a pot over the greens. I'm not going to add any water to the greens. It's going to be good. I will add some olive oil to that skillet with the onions and the leeks though, because these vegetables are fat soluble, the minerals and the vitamins are fat soluble. So you want to have some fat to get the full benefit of these greens. Olive oil. Plus it makes it taste good too. The onions and the leeks are caramelizing in the olive oil. They're starting to smell good. I'm going to add some minced garlic to it, but no salt. I'll show you why a little bit later. The Bok Choy, I've chopped it, and I'm going to put it into a pot with the Shanghai, and it's going to wait. The leeks and the onions are starting to cook down. They're releasing some of their moisture. I'm going to take these leeks and onions and I'm going to pour them over the pot of mushrooms. The mushrooms are oyster mushrooms, king oyster mushrooms, and shiitake. The process is just as important as the ingredients. You have to get these vegetables, these onions and leeks caramelized first. Once they're caramelized and release their moisture, I'm going to pour them over. Their essence is going to drip through those mushrooms. The mushrooms are going to begin to release their moisture. It's going to make it into a nice dark colored broth. I'm going to pour that broth over the greens and steam the greens. Onions. fire is still on under the mushrooms. They're going to start to release their moisture. The essence of these leeks and onions is going to drip through the mushrooms. It's going to make a nice broth. We're going to pour that hot broth over the pot of Bok Choy and Shanghai. And this is going to be absolutely delicious. Hey, look at that cast iron. Isn't that beautiful? Looks like a mirror. We'll put the top over this to conserve the moisture. Okay, I had to transfer to a bigger pot because the other pot wasn't big enough. So here we go. The greens are in here. I'm going to pour the mushrooms and the onions and leeks over that. Get that steaming for a minute. And then be ready to eat in about 6 minutes. It smells good. You smell those mushrooms already? These vegetables are about done. The reason I didn't put any salt in here is because at the end, put fish sauce on here. This is a Lucky Brand fish sauce purchased at the Asian grocery store. And I have another one here, which is aged, very aged. That's a euphemism for old. But the old one is far superior to the new one. So we eat the old one. We're going to let this one age too. Hey, Pete's Jam.